Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to another glorious day on the Performium Skyblock server. And I'm still working on the underside of the mushroom up there, and so I have not re-engaged my shader pack, but it's still my island, still just as glorious. Uh, but I have several things that whoops, forgot you can do that. Several things that I want to try to at least begin to tackle today. I know I said I wanted to get the path in that goes up and around and up to where the nether portal is going to be, but I also got sidetracked with the rest of the work up there, helping Ender Lady, working on the barge down there. Lots of things got me a little sidetracked. So it'll get done, don't worry. And I really do want this to get done sooner rather than later, so it's on the tippy top of my priority list. It's just there are lots of other little side projects I want to get at least going so that I can have the ball rolling for them. Uh, and one of them is down here. First off, let's take a nice little fly around. I have rounded off the front of the air bladder portion of the work barge down here. I still need to build the front of the ship out. I also need to add all the details and everything and build the rest of the ship up. But this opens up more workspace here. And so one of the things that I wanted to do down here was have a smeltery kind of farm. But there's a problem. And it has to do with the hoppers, but it also has to do with just bare Minecraft. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to go and just put, let's see here, that's a normal chest. I will go with just 8 of them for now. 1, 2, and then do that and go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I will put these 8 furnaces here. And then go chest, trap chest, chest, trapped. And then we have these, 2 chest, hopper, hopper, and finally chest and chest. Now, you look at this and you think, alright, if I put 8 things in there, 4 will go left and 4 will go right. And then 2 will go here and 2 will go there. And then 1 will go there and 1 will go there. And that's what I would think too. So let's test this. Let's put in just 8 items. And let's see what happens. Give it a few minutes to sift its way down to the bottom. Nothing in there. No. 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 Nothing. There's 1. Nothing. And nothing. Alright, so we've got 4 going into there. Let's check this one. And 4 going into there. Look at that. How predictable. Except it's not. Because in the same sort of orientation, I have gotten 4 to go into this one, and then 4 to go into that one, and then 4 in there, and 4 in there. But I do that and give it just a few minutes to filter on down. They're going in that one. Oops. They're not going in that one now. Oh, wait, they're going that one. That's what it is. So we've got 8. Come on. And then 8. So it did it twice in a row to those 2 same ones. So that means it made the decision to go in this one, but it also made the decision to go in that one. So it's this, and then that, and then in there. So what that means is I'm going to have to use a different sort of system for doing large bulk smelting. Which means I'm going to have to use minecarts. If I want to have like a whole bunch of fire and forget, then what I can do is put like, I don't know, the hopper there, and then there, and there, and there, and there. Whoops. Boop. And I'm doing 1, 2, 3. There we go. And I can just put the chest, I guess, right here, like so. And all these be hoppers that filter down to here. I'm sorry, no, here and here. And then it just goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and I can walk away. Ideally. But even then, I would have to have it set up for tons and tons and tons for it to be efficient. So I'm going to have to find something that's going to work on this server, because ultimately what I would like to do is come down here and go, alright, here's a whole inventory of cactus, and here's a whole inventory of sand, and here's a whole inventory of logs, and this and that, and just have a whole bunch of them, and then go up to my other work or sit in my AFK pool and plan another build or something, and then come back and everything's cooked. That's what I'd like to do. And I'm going to see if I can figure out something that'll work. But in between doing that, I am still also going to be working on the giant mushroom and a little bit on the actual structure of this ship. But that is going to require a lot more wool. A lot more wool. So, lots of busy work ahead of me. I'm going to get to work. I'll be back. Alright, so I've done a lot of trial and error trying to get it to work with the hoppers on this server and the timing and everything like that. And I think I've come up with a setup that works. I have seen versions that work on single player that don't work on servers. I've seen versions that work on other servers but don't work on this one for one reason or another. But I was really, really trying to get 8 to go at once. That way, I could do a stack in 1/8 the time. So here is the configuration. It works. I found out first off that this can pull in when it comes to an end and then shoots back out. It can pull in units of 24 at a time. I don't know why that arbitrary number, but it does. So it gets to the end, pulls 24 and spits it back out. Like for instance, if I come down here and put in 48 of these, and that's on, turn this on, go down here, look again, there's 24. 24 are gone now. That little second, that 24 is also gone. Turn this back off. And also, I found out, and I'll look in these hoppers to show you here in a bit, I found out that if you have the one immediately adjacent to the end point be a hopper instead of a useless rail like this is, it'll skip it entirely. It'll completely skip the hopper. It doesn't matter if it's the second one from this end or whatever. It won't do this hopper if this hopper is here. And it doesn't matter which end it's on. So I built it in so that there is the stop here under the input hopper, then a gap, and then 8 hoppers, then a gap, then a rail under here. And also I confirmed that it pulls 24 from either of them, it does not matter which. Now, it does evenly split the items between all 8 of the hoppers exactly. It spans it perfectly with this orientation on this server. It actually works. So I'm going to tear this down, go sideways with it, see if it works, and then make a mock-up of how it's actually going to be set up, and then give it a test run, and I will see if all 8 furnaces light up, and just, I'm going to be so pleased if this works on the first try. You have no idea. So, I'll be back. Okay, I'm up here at the log shop because I want to get some charcoal going. That is my first test thing. I have placed... I thought I timed it right. I have placed in the lower one of these chests or the other, I placed a bunch of blaze rods, and for the most part, they have all gone into these furnaces. Most of these say 64, except the 2 on the end have some minor hiccups once in a while. So there are a couple of these in the middle, but they're not all consecutive, that have extra blaze rods. But you know what? As long as I have a steady supply of fuel, I'm not as concerned, because the fuel goes slower anyway. Now, the real thing that I'm concerned with is the output. So what I'm going to do is place in 5 of these and watch what happens. That is a glorious thing. That makes me very happy. So I'm going to get a bunch of coal cooking, or charcoal I should say, and just let this do its thing, and then I should be getting some output pretty rapidly. Oh, look at that. That's wonderful. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay because of the hoppers, but ultimately I'm getting output 8 times as fast. And I don't have to place stuff in each of these hoppers, or in each of these inputs. I could probably get by with just placing in one of them. That would mean I wouldn't need as many hopper resources. I would still need the end cap here, but what I am probably going to do is have the off switch on the same end with the input. That way it's not a redstone block. I just wanted this for the prototype, but it all fired up. They're all cooking, and as long as the input is reasonable, it should overall balance. And I could deal with a little bit of mismatching in fuel and items going in. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But that is what I like to see. Just a few moments and I've already got more than a stack. I am ecstatic with that. And that means that I can have a bunch of these going. One for coal, one for cactus, one for, I don't know, baked potatoes, one for... what else is there to cook? There's other things. There's got to be other things. I will just have to do some thinking, figure out what the maximum number of things that I'd want to cook is going to be, and do it that way. There's one other thing that I definitely want to take care of before I do any other building elsewhere, and that is get the reset going over on the sugarcane, the auto farm, so that I can have a piston that pushes things down. I have an idea or two that I might be able to implement in that small space without actually expanding the room. So I'm going to do that next, but I'm You have no idea how happy I am that this is working. I'll be back. Alright, so here's the idea. Got a redstone block there. And I'm going to get a couple of hoppers. Come on, click down. One's going to be facing the other. So that when I put items into one, it will feed into the other. But at the same time, I'm going to have a pair of comparators. Wait, did this just... No. I thought for sure I watched it. I swear it went in there. Anyway, I'm going to have a pair of comparators here and here, and then oh, I can't do it like that. I'm gonna have to do it this way. I'm trying to do it without tearing up too much of this area. Ooh, delights are fun. So let's see here. I can use the jungle planks so that it still looks reasonable. I can put the comparators this way. And then one redstone signal will come over this way, and then up over here. And then finally one farther up, like so. Have a repeater. And then there's that one taken care of. Now, this is not going to be enough to trigger it, so the way this is going to work is hold on, let me see here. I also have to trigger that. So I think that should be enough to also trigger the piston. Now let me see here. If I do this, then I can cut some of this down a little bit. I don't mind if it looks a little torn up, at least for this first part, because I can always reconfigure this. I just want to see if this will actually work before I like push this down one layer or something. So this is basically a proof of concept. I need to go get a couple more repeaters. Or no, I don't. Yeah, I do. I need to get one more repeater at least, because I still have to power that. But let's put the redstone dust there. And then bring it up over here. Like so. And then a couple more blocks there should do it. And then one redstone dust will go in there. Or not redstone dust, repeater will go in there. And then the way I hope this will work is if I throw in some items in here, they'll bounce back and forth and alternate powering this or powering that. And each one will piston, making this activate one or the other of the hoppers. So one is always going to be receiving, one's always going to be sending. I don't know the optimum number for throwing in there. I'll just probably start with stack and go from there. And what's going to happen is, as it flips over, one of these pistons will be activated and down. Then it will alternate going back and forth and back and forth. And if it would trigger the sugarcane while it's down, oh well, it should be able to work just fine, though. But so let me go get a redstone repeater and give this a test. So place this here, and then this will... Wow, I didn't know you could place torches on the hoppers. That's cool. So let's see here. Oh. That's powering both of them. Huh. So maybe I need to extend the signal out by one. This might take a little bit of experimentation. Give me a minute. I think I figured out what was going on up there. A lot of the signals were getting crossed, and it was causing temporary bud switches and just a bunch of redstone signal interference. So instead of doing it side to side like I was doing it, I think if I do it long ways, like this, I can take that whole bit right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 long, move it up, and then keep it one layer down, I suppose. And then on one output, run that over to this, and then on the other side, run it over to this. I should be able to get that to work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and see if I'm missing anything, or if it's going to cause any additional interference or whatever, but I will move this all up. We'll find out together. Here any second now, this hopper here is going to go over 22. It'll power that just enough. That gets powered down. Then I just realized something. I had the repeater over there on the one that's always on, so it always stayed activated. These should only be down when there's enough power to move the redstone block. So let me just make sure, because it shouldn't be both or one down at all times. It should just be one pushing down and then the other pushing down briefly. So that's at 10. And it's getting very close. So here in just a second, that should switch over at the same time that this kicks down. So let's just make sure here. There we go. And then it should rotate over. So that piston should retract. And this one should go up. There we go. Alright. So even if I'm not going to be checking on this all the time, these devices should keep it running, and this is hopefully not going to cause a lot of TPS lag here. It's just a couple of hoppers. And it does fit up in the ceiling. I could theoretically just wall all of this off, or not wall it off, but just do this all the way down, and then I've got just a slightly lower ceiling, and then I can just leave enough room to access from over there. So I'm just gonna see how this works. I'll be back. Alright, a whole bunch of progress has been made. First off, I've added a little button to be able to get down here. I know that's not a huge thing, but it is important insofar as now the entire air bladder is completely built. So the only way into the air bladder is through that trapdoor. And I'm going to make it a little bit snazzier in appearance for getting in, but for right now it is sufficient. And what that means is people can't get in here and just toss junk inside my hoppers. anymore. Uh, I have decided to just have 5 of these, and 5 are going to be sufficient. If I'm doing more than just 2 or 3 things at a time, then holy cow. I mean, the most that I could see that I'd be wanting to do at once would be charcoal, and that I could feasibly do all 5 of those at once, but it's going to be very rare. Ow! I thought I was high enough to avoid you. Another thing, obviously, that I need to do down here is make all this covered in carpet or some other blocks that make it not a spawnable area. I'll probably just use slabs or something. Hello. Come on. Just die. Why aren't you doing the sweeping edge thing? There you go. Oh, because of lag. That's why you're not doing the sweeping edge. Got it. I did lose a few more sheep up there because of having to kill slimes down here, so it's going to be a priority. But all the sheep that have been lost are in the temporary pens anyway. And also, speaking of temporary pens, I can do the change over to dyeing them all dark gray because now I don't need as much white anymore. But this design works just nicely. I have this side always powered to return, and then all I had to do whenever I want to run this is just turn it on and then turn it back off if I want them to stop once they get back here. I have nothing in them right now because, well, I don't have anything that I want to cook at the moment. Also, I just recently ran the wheat. In other news... Okay, there we go. I have been making a little bit more progress on the ship itself. Oh, and here's the air bladder from the outside. It goes the whole length of the ship, and I have yet to connect the bands, but I will. I have added the rotor access for the propeller. It's going to stick out at probably 3 units away, or 3 blocks away. Units? Why did I say units? 3 blocks away from this opening, and it's going to have 4-blade propeller on the back. Nothing moving or anything like that. It's just going to be there. I accidentally made it a 3x3 gap, and then I realized, oh yeah, this is an even spaced ship because it has to contain the slime chunks up there. So this is not centered because this is an odd spaced design. Otherwise it would be one farther this way. But I'm going to run the axle over and it will attach to some sort of thing on the back of here. This is going to get encased in iron. I'm probably going to replace a lot of the stone or all the stone with iron over time, and then it will look more engine-y. I am also going to be covering this up with a room, or rather a floor, and on top of that, I have started work on the layout for the actual ship body, and it is going to have a arc that comes up this way. There will be a deck up here, also access to the deck down below, and then there will be another more gradual slope to the front, and that level will be here, and I will have it come probably all the way to here, to the edge of the map, just to utilize the space. I don't know exactly the design that I'm going to use, but I have a couple in mind. But yeah, this is coming along nicely. I am happy with the progress. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here so I don't get too far ahead of myself. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave a message in the comments section below, and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. If you like this video and you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to give a like. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future stuff comes out. But I have lots and lots of other stuff to do, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night on the Performium Skyblock server, and I will talk to you later.